in sync with the earth. 10 toes deep, flower child from the turf. I never switch sides, like even when I die, I'ma ride for the squad, let her ties. Out of the grind, then I come alive in the night to realize I'm in the middle of the time of my life. I never sold pack for the stack, never lied on the rap. Got a bag from the way that I write it. Queen looking Tyson, through that I survived, doing 80 to the house. Then I hit into the sky, changed haters on a tirade. Talking to their grip in the face, be still, let that hate stuff fade. We all want the same, we all want a meal in the safe. I wanna live like I'm trying to reach enlightenment. Trail spill from my lips, feel bent from the bib. Take a sip till I pass out. Try and get grit, but it don't make sense, cause you can lose life on this fast route. Yeah, turn thoughts to a cash cow. I might flip that to the glass house. I don't need the accolades, I'm in love with the chase. I just wanna eat, save a spot at the table. Beast with the slap, hit myself on the map. You long with the wind, but we knowing that it's cap. 5-hour flights, couple nights at the flat. To be real, couldn't see me making moves while I'm at. I'm still on the grind, limit time when I chat. I'm burning down sage, keep the demons away. When I write it, give a piece of myself to the page. I don't do it for the praise, love, that's just how I'm made.
See the truth in the glass in the mirror.
Yeah.
Do it at me, old man, tryna pass in the fear. You're the first one to talk, but the last one to hear. Eyes blurry, but I couldn't see that, and he cleared down. Start to feel like I'm on one. Settle in, I'll be here for the long run. I'm a slave for the cash, got snakes in the grass. No brakes on the ad, but it's all fun. We done seen it all, heard it all. Heard enough, give me space before I murder y'all. 10 bad here, I'ma curve them all. 12 missed calls and I still made a curtain call. Here to light it up, lighten up. Hear him talking, they ain't right enough, tighten up. Everything that I came for, I left with. I don't bang sets, I just bang on the set list. Going past supper when I came for the breakfast. Put me in your prayers, I might put you on the guest list. Young, to me reckless. Gold in my soul, got the same on my necklace.
Light it up, light it up.
That's my word. I don't think they know that's my word. Yeah, that's my. Hold up.
Big on the set, what they said, play. So I skip straight ahead to the bread part. Top out, I'm cool on the chick chat. With the kid, know I got the gift pack. Big on the set, what they said, play. So I skip straight ahead to the bread part. Top out, I'm cool on the chick chat. With the kid, know I got the gift pack.
Keep it real with you, I've been in the field in position. Look, hey, I've been trill, you can tell by how I feel when you with me. Look, wave, tell me, can you slide for a real one?
Slide for me, slide for me.
Can you slide for a real one?
Can you slide for me, slide for me.
Can you slide for a real one? Can you slide for a real one?
Can't tell me nothing, I'm flexing, stunting. Eating all my veggies in my pocket, half an onion. And that pack smell like a funyun. Trump be beating, shit be humming. You can hear me around the corner before you ever see me coming. And they know just how we coming. Hands drumming, she gon' bust it open way before I finish thumbing. I could put you on some paper, proper play and teach you something. Got my stones on Himalaya, know I'm out your sucker ducking. Ain't no need for that discussion, bluffing with the game. About to build a couple million, came with nothing but my name. I I'ma twist it, flip it, stick it like a bop it. Tell them stop it, all them haters out of pocket. Let me plug it like a socket, baby. Big on the stairs, what they said, part. So I skip straight ahead to the bread part. Top dog, I'm cool on the chick check. With the kid, know I got to get paid. Big on the stairs, what they said, part. So I skip straight ahead to the bread part. Top dog, I'm cool on the chick check. With the kid, know I got to get paid.
Tell me, can you slide for a real one?
Slide for me, slide for me.
Can you slide for a real one?
Slide for me, slide for me.
Can you slide for a real one? Can you slide for
Baby
a
say
real
I make
one?
her nervous. Maybe cause I'm real on the surface. Maybe cause I'm 10 down where the turf is. Don't get lost in those facades on the guys. You know ain't nobody perfect. I just put the work in, I know what my worth is. I'm living lavish, I'm flossing, bossing, and bagging up cash off the passion. Out here with my niggas, AV to the casket. We reckless, stay in your lane. I'm on gas till somebody cut the brakes. Cutting off these haters in the heads of the snakes. You're spinning the plan, but you catching on late. And she just sent the emoji, said she wetter than a lake. So I better not flake, take a break, say word. Hit me when you through with that, then we can shift again, my schedule been clear. These niggas see me, they mad like I'm one of their peers. I put that on Sita, so I'm sure it's abundantly clear. I'm hella big on the set, what I said. Eyes low off the legal in the red whip. Put the leg room in the roof gone. Man, I came a long way from them deals off the Groupon, right?
Big on the stairs, what they said, part. So I skip straight ahead to the bread part. Top dog, I'm cool on the chick check. Fuck with the kid, know I got to get paid. Big on the stairs, what they said, part. So I skip straight ahead to the bread part. Top dog, I'm cool on the chick check. Fuck with the kid, know I got to get paid.
Keep it real with you, I've been in a feeling position. Yeah, yeah. I've been trail, you could tell by how I feel when you with me. Yeah. Tell me, can you slide for me? Can you slide for it one? Yeah. Tell me, can you slide for it one? Yeah.
The original man.
The truth is hard, I'm so much better. Won't you let me stay here forever? Light up in the sky, filled with treasures.
Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Yeah, I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Swerving, making plays, cool Ferrari red. Never out my zone, touchdown in my hands. Only fam around me, I can't have no friends. Had to cut you off, you left me out for dead. Ever since I was a teen, had prices on my head. Had to cut you off, you left me out for dead. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do what I do. I'm like Simon Says. Just picked up some bands, come again, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Yeah, I'm the running man.
Don't feel right. I still wanna party with her. Oh yeah. Even when it don't feel right. You know I'ma party with her, with her, with her. We've been chillin' off the Wednesday, slept until it's Thursday. She don't wanna leave me, not just yet. Told me all about last Friday, when she went all crazy. Didn't go to bed till Saturday. I don't wanna go without, so I asked her to stay. Though she broke my heart in a million ways, but I'm putting that aside now. I'ma feel alright now, happy just as long as she's with me. I've been trying my luck every day of the week, yeah. When my baby wakes up, always down every weekend. No, I love her too much, but I just can't get enough. She's
Baby, you set my soul on fire every morning and every evening. And maybe we can't get any higher. But if you like to take a ride, we can discover what we're hiding. Making you move, it sure looks good. Playing it cool like you know you should. Put on a smile that's one of a kind. And I can't get you off my
Like It or Not starts now.
Good morning. 1 second. Let me plug in my mic, Mike. Didn't know it wasn't plugged in. 2 seconds. There we go. Like it or not, well, we're free to tell the truth.
And not care who doesn't like it.
All right. How you doing? Well, let me get these chords.
We lost you, Rebecca. I don't have you anymore. Say something. And I'm low. Okay, well, let me adjust.
I'm here. There we go. It's just a lot happening on today as I am trying to switch from regular work to this kind of thing today. So both jobs are on the table right now, on the kitchen table. But good morning, and how are you? How you doing? How you been?
Good. How you doing, Rebecca Azor? It's good to see you.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Just working 6 jobs, and that's all right. We doing all right.
Yeah.
You're
Doing
what
good.
you are you in the trees? Are you in the it's giving a little
Just
summer?
in the back. I've been on the back porch, just enjoying the sun. We haven't had sun in about 2 weeks, so I said, let me go outside. We've had nothing, but I forgot how rainy Florida is in the rainy season. So there you go.
Yeah, it's hurricane season. So this is what we're getting. You're going to get rain and sun, rain and sun, rain and sun, rain and sun. It's been like that over here in Georgia as well, where it's just been complete rain storms. And it's funny because you used to be able to trust your weather app. And
That's right.
honey, you look at the weather app, baby, and it's saying, and then I even be like, Alexa. I have to whisper her name so she doesn't respond. But I even, be like, hey Siri, what's the weather today? And she's like, it's raining now. The sun is beaming through the window. And it's like 60% chance. Okay, well, it's definitely not giving 60%. The sun is out, and there's nothing like on my birthday. It was supposed to storm, and it was still saying currently storming on May 15th or May 13th when I celebrated. And I'm looking outside, and I mean, we were hitting 90 something degrees that day.
Yeah,
and I think it's crazy because
100 degrees.
It ain't like it used to be. You could really trust the weather app. They don't even know.
Nah. No, it's unpredictable. Where was that? I forgot what state that was in just last or 2 nights ago, where they were at a concert, an outside concert, and then all of a sudden a hailstorm came out of nowhere and injured a
Wow.
whole bunch of people. And then, matter of fact, just yesterday on a Carnival cruise ship, they showed video footage of a freak hailstorm that just came out of nowhere. While people were above deck, on a cruise ship, when weather gets bad, they have you go inside. Nah, people were outside partying, and then next thing you know, hell came out of nowhere, injured a whole bunch of people. So, the weather is kind of doing what it wants to do right now. On top of all the not great white, but the killer whales, the orcas that are destroying these ships. I think the planet is trying to fix itself from us.
Orcas are destroying ships, people becoming fish food. It's been a lot of things happening in this world. And I don't know where to start. I'll just start there and then we'll just go into your Russia story. But I just really want to talk about the submarine. Last week, not last week, earlier this week on Wednesday, we joined together and we just talked Juneteenth because we didn't get a chance to talk Juneteenth. And so we wanted to discuss that. And at the time, the submarine, I know everybody has heard it. We've heard literally the world knows what went down or what was happening with the Ocean Gate, an interesting name for the company. We've all seen the memes. We've all seen the jokes. We've all been in a group chat. We've all sat around our dinner tables. We've had comments on this. But we know the submarine. Okay, so this is after days of searching for the submersible. Or am I saying that right, Ben? Because I know that I don't want you to like Rebecca. Okay, that went missing in the Atlantic Ocean as it transported 5 people to view the wreckage of the Titanic. Officials said its fate is no longer a mystery. It imploded in the depths of the sea, apparently within hours after starting its descent. Coast Guard Rear Adam John Moger said at a news conference Thursday that the teams had found pieces of the missing subs consistent with a catastrophic implosion of the vessel in a debris field on the sea floor, just 16,000 feet from the bow of the Titanic. A U.S. Navy official said the military detected an acoustic anomaly consistent with an implosion on Sunday, shortly after the sub, called the Titan, lost contact with the surface. But the search rescue teams did not want to give up hope, and they used the information to help narrow down the search. And before we get in on what is an implosion and all those other things, Ben, when you heard about this, what was your first thoughts?
Well, I don't know my first thoughts because I think I just changed the channel in my first thoughts because, I wasn't quite sure how serious it was because they were, searching. But then as I started listening to the owner, the CEO of the company, videos of him coming out and describing how many corners he cut, I was like, oh, these people might be dead. And then as the world started searching for these people, I saw all the jokes and all the memes. And I'm not going to criticize anybody who wants to laugh their way through this. I didn't laugh. I just really thought about how pitiful it is when you try to prove a point that you can cut corners, skirt regulations, and then end up putting so many people's lives at risk. And then to find out there was a 19-year-old kid on there who didn't want to be there in the first place. That took me out. That took me out.
I thought about what his story could have been, and that could have been my dad, because it was Father's Day. It was still, my dad is going on this trip, I'm going to go with him type of thing. That's what I could think of. I don't know if that was the exact story. Reportedly, the aunt of the 19-year-old boy said he was, talking about reservations of going. He did not feel comfortable. He was frightened. He was scared, but he wanted to go with his father. It's Father's Day, I would think. Also, it was, I think, it was about $250,000 per person to get on and ride down to the Titanic, to see the Titanic. Y'all got a dog?
No, that's the neighbor's dog. Was pretty loud.
What?
I don't do those.
But it was over $200 per person. Excuse me, not $200. Let me get $200,000 per person, 5 people. And what I want to say is, it's more so. And yeah, we can get to the video in a second, but it's more so for me. The power. You said how they were able, to skip regulations and go down there and do whatever. But to me, it just shows power, what money can literally buy you, where you can just skip regulations. I remember watching the initial conference or where the media was speaking to the experts and the people investigating. And I said to myself, why isn't he answering the question? She says, hey, were you guys giving them, because isn't there rules and regulations? Why were they able to go down there? He looks at him and says, 92, or they're slowly losing oxygen. She said again, no, if you guys are like, you guys are the feds of the water, the feds of the sea. Why did you guys allow for these rich people to go to, are there no rules and regulations? He just looked and said, I don't really know how much time they have. Money, that's why. Power, right? This is what money gives you, is power. And literally, you guys know that this machine, this capsule isn't fit to go down there with that many people. I don't care how many trips it's done successfully. Experts know, looking at that thing, it's not something that is going to withstand. It's not supposed to withstand pressures or temperatures or anything under the water in the depths of the ocean. So many examples were shown about what an implosion looks like, but it's really, really sad. It is really, really.
I'm actually,
really sad.
I'm grateful that it was an implosion and that it happened as soon as, they weren't on that, submersible for more than a few hours, sounds like, because the fear everybody had was that they were there slowly trying to get rescued over a matter of 4 or 5 days, slowly running out of oxygen.
Already died on day one.
Yeah, they had already died, and actually, nobody wants to die slowly, right? And so, from all indications of the type of implosion it was, they died before they even knew what happened, right? It was instantaneous. So that's, you can't really ask for more in terms of a really tragic story that had a bad ending. At least they died quickly and didn't, because I think about, like, what would it be for that son and father to sit there and have that conversation? I didn't want to go in the first place, Dad. I mean, can you imagine, like,
there was no, I instantly thought of claustrophobia. There was no room. Like, look, he's sitting in it. Now, 5 men, young little boy, but 5 men are sitting in there. It makes me really, really sad for the boy. I really, honestly, and this is not even to be heartless. I just felt like this is what money does. Like, you make stupid decisions like this, like to go down there, Ocean Gate Titan, like just to go see the Titanic. You aren't really even an expert at this. You just want to go down, and then on the page they were even inviting, before this incident happened, other people to get on it. Here's what we do, here's what we've done, you guys come on down, this is how much it'll cost. It was just like, I don't understand how we were able to get here. This could have been preventable, but even in the moment of the search, it's really sad. The 19-year-old boy is what literally took my heart. It's really sad. Let's take a look at some footage that we have associated with the implosion.
Descended down to the wreck of the Titanic Sunday, killing the 5 men on board instantly.
Our most heartfelt condolences go out to the loved ones of the crew.
The Coast Guard broke the grim news today after a remote-controlled rescue sub discovered the remains of the Titan on the ocean floor, just 500 yards from the historic wreck of the Titanic.
The initial thing we found was a nose cone, which was outside of the pressure hull. We then found a large debris field. Within that large debris field, we found the front end bell of the pressure hull. That was the first indication that there was a catastrophic event.
But they did not find the bodies of the 5 men who were on board the Titan and said they may never be found because of the, quote, incredibly unforgiving environment. OceanGate, the company that operates the submersible, says in a statement, "Our hearts are with these 5 souls and every member of their families during this tragic time." The men all signed a waiver that mentioned the possibility of dying 7 times. CBS correspondent David Pogue read a portion of it before he boarded the sub last year.
An experimental submersible vessel that has not been approved or certified by any regulatory body and could result in physical injury, disability, emotional trauma, or death.
The sub's designer and pilot, Stockton Rush, who perished in the disaster, is facing more criticism today. He claimed that he built the sub with the help of top-notch engineers.
We worked with Boeing and NASA and the University of Washington.
But today, Boeing issued a statement saying it was not a partner on the Titan and did not design or build it. And the University of Washington says their physics lab was not involved in the design, engineering, or testing of the Titan.
You'll have 2 people sitting here and 2 people here and the pilot back there.
When he gave this tour to a previous Titan passenger, he admitted he broke rules when he built the sub.
It was General MacArthur said, "You're remembered for the rules you break." And, you know, I've broken some rules to make this.
Yeah.
He's broken some rules to make this and he's gotten away with it. They just I don't understand, and it put people's lives in danger and it's costly. But we were going to pay this odd amount of money. He's already done a few successful trips and that's what it's going to be. And some people were saying that he was like a mad scientist type of person when it came to the ocean. I don't know, but those people are gone. And it's I initially did not, and not to be heartless, like I said, not even that it was funny, but just people just get away with things because they have money. I honestly don't know why there was no stopping this person. It was interviews, it was all this stuff, and there was a risky capsule created with the controller. I'm pretty sure it looked cool. It's been down there, it had successful trips, but this should have never happened.
Yeah, should never have happened. But oh well. I'm sorry to all those people, and I'm heartbroken about the young boy, the 19-year-old. And
the 19-year-old is what really, that one really, because I'm like, that baby did not want to go on there. That baby just wanted to stay above water with his daddy. And here we go. Now all of them are gone.
Just the arrogance of rich people, like not even the family, not even the young man and his dad who went on the trip, but the arrogance of the CEO and the trust that you put in people because they have money. I think we should all really be clear of the fact that money does not equal intelligence. Look at Elon Musk.
And that's what I was saying to my siblings. We were having a conversation about it, and I was like, I understand money supersedes stupidity, though. It supersedes just everything. If you got money, you got power. Nobody cares about anything else. Nobody cares if you're following the rules. Nobody cares who this will hurt. You have money. You just have, like, money literally bought them a one-way ticket to their grave. Like, nobody, pet families are hurting all of this because they wanted to go do what? Eat lunch and look at the Titanic?
Yeah.
So now they're gone. And around the same, just a few days earlier, and this is something that has been on media. Like we got memes about it. We have debates about it. It's on every channel. It's in every country. We're all talking about it. Canada and France also joined in on the search efforts, with us here in the United States. And so it's been a whole thing, right? It's been everywhere. But one thing that we haven't seen in that same time was a shipwreck that happened right in the waters of the Greek waters. And that's something I didn't hear about or anything like that, but it was a shipwreck that happened I believe, into the Black Sea. I'm trying to see so it was with hundreds of people missing when the overloaded vessel capsized in the Mediterranean on June 14th. It was Syrian immigrants. It looked like Pakistani, Syrian, Egyptian, Palestinian refugees and migrants, 750 of them on a boat. And it capsized in Greek waters. Only 104 of those people have been rescued. But we didn't hear about that at all. Those people paid their last to try to find a better life, I think, going into Italy. And we didn't hear anything about it. 750 people and just over 100 people survived it.
You know, we get so it's just the nature of global media that they really don't care about migrants, especially, you know, when so many nations have this far right-wing disposition towards migrants, like they don't want you to come to their country anyway. I remember this at the start of the Syrian civil war, how many Syrian migrants, refugees were trying to escape and drowned as well. And it wasn't until there was a picture of, I think it was a 3-year-old little boy who washed up on the shores, that it finally got the attention of the world. But then they went right back to normal, not caring about these migrants who died trying to escape the problems that they have at home, jumping on ships, overloading these ships, and then they capsize. And we see this is a perfect example. We spent the entire week. I mean, they even put an oxygen counter, an hour countdown for the oxygen on the Titan on CNN. And they had it playing over and over and over again. It's one thing that the media loves is trauma porn, right? They love for us, but they don't show a specific type. They never show the type of suffering that happens coming from quote unquote third world countries or quote unquote underdeveloped countries, which are nothing more than overexploited countries. They don't show that, but they will spend the entire week showing what happened to 5 people on a sub, because, well, those are people that we're supposed to have empathy for. Those are people we're supposed to be concerned about. And that's how the media always works. And it gets even worse when you talk about Black people. You talk about the horrors that have happened throughout the continent of Africa, where we, you know, comparatively speaking, you know, the stuff that they have us fixated on CNN all day long pale in comparison to the horrors that we see in the global South. And this is the perfect example. We spent the entire week talking about those 5 billionaires or those 5 people on the ship, on the submersible. And you know, you have to go online to get information about the refugees, how many of them died and what were they searching for. You know, that's just how the media does it.
And also the people who survived, who had their testimonies of what happened. One survivor from Syria, and this is what I want people to be clear about. And I think this is also why it didn't make news as well, because they talk about their experience and why the boat capsized. One survivor from Syria, you know, according to CNN, is identifying as Rami, described how a Greek Coast Guard vessel approached the boat multiple times to try to attach a rope to tow the ship, with disastrous result, saying the third time they told us the boat swayed to the right and everyone was screaming, people began falling into the sea and the boat capsized and no one saw anyone anymore. Brothers were separated, cousins were separated. Another Syrian man stated that the Greek captain pulled us too fast. It was extremely fast and it caused our boat to sink. So they were basically trying to tow the boat, you know, like get them and arrest them, and you know, it's kind of like their ICE, and so they were trying to get them, and because that they finally it's the cause of the reason why we ain't even see what happened is because they're immigrants and they were doing something illegally. This is one of those we need to close our borders type thing. They should have never been coming out this way, this and that, but we had to have sympathy. People got mad when jokes were being made, and even though I wasn't, you know, I would look at the jokes, giggle a little bit. Things were said in our group, in our personal group chats and things like that. But you know, we don't want people to die. I don't. But your stupidity led to your death, right? But everybody was supposed to have some kind of feeling of sadness and be remorseful for what happened to them, and we should be angry at the people who are making memes and all of this and that. But these migrants, and maybe I'm a little too close to it because I have a family member who actually migrated here that way and was the only person left when they came to the end of the trip. Watched everybody die. And when he got to the border, he was the only person left at the end of that trip. And so, but he chose that for a better life. Like anything, sacrificing for a better life, not using $250,000 to go into deep down under and possibly die. He just knew I might possibly die trying to go get a better life. And for the search mission or anything like that, that we didn't hear anything about. I would love to know about that story, about those 750 migrants.
Yeah.
I would have loved to hear about that story, to know what happened, how it happened, when it happened, who was saved. What kind of search mission was done there? Well, you know what I'm saying? What were the search efforts there? Did any other countries get involved? I would have loved to know. These are people who did pay money too to get on that boat, their last, to try to give their kids, themselves, somebody a better life. And we're almost there.
I know I was going to say that the thing is that we're going to see more and more and more and more of this, not only because of different wars and skirmishes and things that are happening internally in each of these countries that these people are coming from, but also because of climate change. The more intense the climate gets, the more refugees we're going to see. And see, we have this assumption in the United States that we wouldn't be refugees ourselves, right? But the more we see climate change make these drastic changes in our weather, and the more we see flooding, like we saw in Pakistan, like historic levels of flooding, the displacement, the amount of people who are going to be trying to get to better conditions is going to grow exponentially to the point of we're going to see this on a regular basis. We're going to see this almost on a daily basis, and people are going to be surprised whether or not it's coming from the United States of America. We're going to see displacement happen. And so this is unfortunately just the beginning, because again, we're dealing with a system of people, some of those billionaires who really control whether or not we even talk about climate change in a meaningful way. So I think people really need to pause and look at what happened to these migrants and understand that's coming like 100-fold because of everything that is happening in the world right now.
And it's been this has been happening though. Migrants have been getting on boats by the whole bunch of Haitian ones was just, and they stay on them. Listen, the people on the borders and tell them don't go, and they're still like, listen, look at my life here. I can only try to get over somewhere. It's happening every day, every single day. They just don't want us to see what's really going on and how they are handling it. Many of them are not making it, not because they're dying from the weathers at sea or like famished, nothing, right? It's because these coast guards are sent in and possibly interfering where there is something that happens where the boat capsizes or shots are being, we will never know. But the stories of these migrants, we will never know it as the media will give it to us. So it's just that, hey, 750 people were on a boat. It capsized, by a little bit over 100 of them survived, and that's all. Lock up our borders, put up the walls. This is what we're talking about.
And the stupidity of the Greece Coast Guard. Like, I mean, this is not a good comparison, but I just, if anybody have done a cheap tow of your car, and you put a rope on the car in front of you in order to tow, you do know not to go over a certain speed. Now we're talking about a boat with hundreds of people, 750 people on it, and the Greek Coast Guard had enough forces to get there to tow them, but not enough forces to save them. Like, so there's a whole lot more that we need to know about this, and people do need to be held accountable. But like I saw someone say in the chat room, this happened in international waters, so there's a possibility that no one will be held accountable for all the loss of life that we just saw this week.
No one will be. And when they reached out to the Hellenic Coast Guard, they are saying nothing. They're not being really held accountable. They're saying nothing, and they're okay, and they're moving on. Imagine how many times this has already happened. Imagine how many times this has already happened. And I'm pretty sure it happened multiple times. And even in our own waters, I'm pretty sure many, like, these stories are not far, I think, and in between. I think they're constantly happening because I know from my country, they are doing daily. They're on the boats daily out there. They are hopping on any way they can, and they're doing these trips daily. So, and that's only from my country, and there are surrounding Caribbean countries are doing the same. So, I say that to say, you know, I just would love more coverage on that. Just more to see how people literally are risking their last. We're not even hearing about anymore the white ones out there in Ukraine anymore. We're not hearing anything about those migrants anymore or anything. It's just a lot of the news about that stuff is pushed to the side. But these
white ones,
yeah, the white ones. That I'm just saying, not even the white ones is getting coverage. So I say that to say, but we will cover and have to feel sorry for those billionaires,
rich people,
and because they wanted to go have lunch in deep waters where they signed waivers that said they could die. They knew it was a possibility, and even the professionals who heard the implosion just hours into them submerging had us waste our time and look for these people. Money, time, energy, memes. Meanwhile, I can bet you those people that when that boat capsized, not much was really, not that many. The search party wasn't that big. Okay. The search party wasn't that big in international waters, and I'm pretty sure out here in our our coast, it's not the same.
Like, why not send just a I don't know, just a stupid thought that I'm having. Why not send like maybe 3 Coast Guard ships from Greece to actually take some of the burden off that one ship before you try to tow it? Like, why not transfer, like half of the people off that boat and then try to escort it wherever?
It wasn't to save them. It was to reprimand them. Okay. We're not going to give no, hook onto this boat. Y'all better stop. We're going to get y'all. Y'all go in and we're going to put y'all in these little camps once y'all get to shore, and we're sending y'all asses back. That's pretty much it. Basically. But that's just, a juxtaposition I wanted to put there into what is important, what they want to be important to us, what they want us to shed tears for, who they want us to shed tears for, and, and the other people deserve because they illegally were crossing the border. So that, anywho, and Ben, I know you have a story coming out of Russia. I haven't heard much about it. Let us know more.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, it's a fast moving story coming out of Russia, the Wagner Group, the mercenaries, the paid mercenaries. If anyone's following and knows about Blackwater in the United States, they are the private mercenary version here in the United States. Well, that group that has been fighting, the Wagner Group, has been on the front lines fighting in Ukraine on behalf of Vladimir Putin since the beginning of the invasion into Ukraine about 1.5 years ago. And overnight, rather yesterday, into the evening, their leader had put out a video stating that he is marching 25,000 of his soldiers, of his mercenaries, into Russia to address the unjust war that was happening in Ukraine. So we have a coup that is actually happening. And I think some of the experts are calling it right now just an armed insurrection. They don't know if it's going to go as far as a coup to overthrow Vladimir Putin, but the very troops, the very mercenaries that Vladimir Putin hired and sent them into Ukraine, they have turned and now are encroaching closer and closer to Moscow. Folks who may not know, that's like forces getting closer and closer to Washington, D.C. So this is a major development. And we have some audio translated of Vladimir Putin, who didn't speak for the first I would say almost the first 18 hours of this, we did not hear from Vladimir Putin. And then finally he came out and confirmed what everyone was suspecting, that this is an actual threat to his regime. The Putin regime is in trouble because of the mercenaries that he equipped, the mercenaries that he hired, put money into their hands. He made essentially a warlord there in Ukraine to fight his war in Ukraine, his unjust war of imperialism in Ukraine. They have now started to turn and come back to Russia. And there's very little opposition so far. There's been a couple of skirmishes. The Wagner Group has reported that they've shot down 3 Russian helicopters, military helicopters. There's been some fighting back and forth, some skirmishes, but nothing of the magnitude that you would expect on a full-scale invasion of Moscow, or they haven't reached Moscow yet. They're some 300 miles away from Moscow. And right now, Moscow, the authorities from the Kremlin, they're shutting down the bridge access to all the multiple entry points into Moscow. They have started to shut them down and prepare for the reality that their capital will and very likely be invaded, depending on how things go throughout the rest of the day. I want us to play, David, if you would play the clip of Vladimir Putin's speech as he outlines exactly the threat that they are facing now.
Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Intrigues, clashes, and so on has led in the First World War to tremendous turmoil and unrest. And that resulted in the tragedy of the First World War. And the Russians were the victims of that. And this was affected by a number of opportunistic elements. We will not let this be repeated. We will defend our motherland, including overcoming a number of obstacles. This is treason, and it is about the ambition of inimical forces.
Yeah. So he's addressing it as the ambition of political forces. He never called the leader of the Wagner Group by name, Prigozhin, who has put out video after video stating his intent to address not Putin directly. So this is one place where we don't have all the information yet. And I've been listening to all the conversations and exchanges that are happening with reporters and journalists across the globe who are trying to understand what's happening. Initially, they felt that Prigozhin, the leader of the Wagner Group, was going to, in a way, help Vladimir Putin by staging a military coup against his generals beneath him. But then Vladimir Putin came out and said, no, this is an attack on all of us. This is an attack on Russia. This is an attack on the fatherland, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So now we're in a position where, or they're in a position where you have essentially Nazis. I want to make something clear. The Wagner Group, they're monsters. They are monsters who hired prisoners. They took and emptied out prisons in Russia, took those people and didn't even put them in uniforms, but gave them weapons and sent them into Ukraine. And some of the most atrocious war crimes that we saw in Ukraine so far came directly from the Wagner Group. So while right now what they're doing is helpful to the people of Ukraine, right? This is a wonderful opportunity for the Ukrainians to end this war that should never have started from Vladimir Putin. But I think it's really important that in the United States, we really are clear that we don't want the Wagner Group getting access to Russia's nuclear weapons. But this is the type of regime change that we're possibly seeing. Like we're really at an inflection point in world history where, you know, Russia, who was positioned a year and a half ago to remain as a superpower, they're now in a position, one, where Vladimir Putin's regime could be coming to an end very soon. But then two, the 4,000 nuclear weapons that they have under control, possibly. I mean, it seems like it would have seemed like a stretch last week. Like we would be laughed to scorn if we were talking about any of this a week ago because it seems so impossible. But right now we're talking about the reality that the potential reality that the Wagner Group could literally get control over the full military along with the weapons of mass destruction. And that's not good news for anyone when you consider what the Wagner Group really is. And they are a group of vicious mercenaries who kill for hire. And right now they've just decided to turn their weapons on Vladimir or on Russia.
It's funny you say that. The Washington Post actually just posted their story on it just now about the Wagner inches closer to Moscow as Putin vows to stop rebellion. So you're basically, talking about this story and people are just getting onto it. But even how you just broke it down is very interesting. You said that it was a group of people that he initially, he put together, he armed, and that was to attack Ukraine. And now they've turned around and turned on him. Why would you think they've turned on him?
Well, so the reason that they're giving, right, the Prigozhin he gave was an alleged attack. And I'm putting these in air quotes because we don't really know if this attack actually was done by Russia. But the pretense that he gave was that Russia attacked one of their camps. So you have to pause and say, okay, well, why would Vladimir Putin and the military defense of Russia, Ministry of Defense, rather, in Russia, turn their weapons on their mercenaries? So we don't know for sure if that actually happened as Prigozhin said, or if it was a false flag. But it doesn't matter because Prigozhin put out a video very shortly after stating his intention to get revenge for what happened. So the reason that they're giving is that Russia turned on them first. But here's the thing about that. As they made their way, there's a convoy making a convoy of Wagner troops and vehicles making its way through Russia. And they have gone city by city and they face very little opposition whatsoever. In fact, some of the military forces have just stood down. Some of them have surrendered. They have joined in the ranks of the Wagner Group, which lets us know that this has been planned for much longer than the alleged attack that happened 2 days ago. This has to have been planned. Some are saying at least for 2 months because they have stockpiles of weapons that they need that earlier Wagner Group said that they didn't have the ammunition that they need, but now they have all the ammunition they need to do this. So that's one of the key indicators that says that this has been planned thoroughly for at least the minimum of 2 months because he's getting so much assistance and they are literally just walking through with very little pushback. I mean, 3 military helicopters that they shot down, that is significant, but you would expect if this was coming to Washington, D.C., this caravan of troops and vehicles would have been laid to waste 100 times over. But right now they are waltzing their way right to Moscow. And we do expect the violence to pick up, though. Here's the thing. There's Chechen soldiers who have committed their allegiance to Vladimir Putin. And so they're getting involved. The nation of Belarus has gotten involved and said they're standing by Russia, specifically by Vladimir Putin. But there are other nations that are like, this is an internal affair. One of my favorites has come from Iran. Iran says this is an internal state matter and we support the rule of law. Okay.
My name is Bennett, and
Russia has been, exactly. So and then we haven't heard from Xi Jinping. We haven't heard from China. A lot of the allies that you would expect to step up and at least say something in solidarity with Vladimir Putin specifically. You're not getting that at all right now.
Yep. And there's a reason, I guess, because like you said, there's some holes in the story and this is something that he created. And it's kind of like, listen, we were rocking with you right up until this. Your own people that you put together just yesterday have decided to turn against you. There's something up. There's something happening there. And we may see as this starts to continue, somebody is going to come up and speak for Vlad. But
one last major detail, Rebecca, that I think is a good juxtaposition with what you were saying earlier. The Wagner Group, they have been active in Ukraine throughout this invasion, but they have also been very active in Africa for some time now. And we don't get any coverage of whatsoever. The fact that they're in Libya, Mali, the Sudan, the Central African Republic. Like, they are there as mercenaries doing some of the same atrocities that we see in Ukraine, but we're not getting the coverage of that. So I just emphasize that because two things. One, the lack of media coverage of that. But then two, that should really just let people know on the international stage that the Wagner Group, they are not our friends. And as happy as I am, I'm going to say this, I've been dancing all night long. Matter of fact, I couldn't even sleep last night because of how excited I am that Vladimir Putin's chickens are coming home to roost. You know, he started this war, and it looks like what he started is actually the very thing that's going to come and end the war, because this is blowing up in his face. This is the end of his regime, one way or another. This is the end of his regime. This is a very significant blow to the Russian nation, to their military. So this is a very significant inflection point in world history, and it's caused precisely because of Vladimir Putin's arrogance. So sorry to that man.
Pretty much sorry to that man, but we're going to see how this plays out. Like I said, somebody I think will probably speak out for Vlad, because in this, I think that he has come out, and I think that he knew a day like this would come. So he's done stuff for people who eventually will have to pay their prices too. But I think a lot of people who have their hands pretty clean, they see what's going on, they know what's going on, and they're like, listen, that's your business. We did what we could do, and this is something that is in-house. This is between family, and
this is an internal matter.
This is as far as our support goes. See ya. Godspeed. That's pretty much where we're at with that now. But again, we will see as this continues to develop. They're now covering it, but like you said, this ain't nothing new. This has been brewing, but and you just fleshing it out like you did. Thanks for that. It was helpful to understand. And we'll see how this continues out. Like you said, this is what they've been doing in other countries, specifically African countries that hasn't been covered, but we know that they've been invading those countries, trying to take over and sending those people there. But to have those same people that he's been building and sending out to kill, steal, and destroy in other countries right there in his own backyard, these are people that he trained up and they're turning on him. We'll see how that ends up going.
One last thing about it. One last thing about it. This is literally why you do not hire mercenaries to do the work of your nation, right? And I say this specifically to the United States of America because we have quite a few contracting agencies where we have outsourced our military actions. What troops do, men who swear their allegiance to the United States of America, normally they do it, but in this case, we've outsourced it to companies like Blackwater. And this is why you don't do this. You don't empower these groups who are basically just corporations making a profit. Of course, they will turn on a dime if somebody offers them more money, because that's why they're fighting in the first place. Exactly.
Yeah, historically, we've seen that happen allegedly with JFK's murderer and who they connected with and things like that from out of the country and like they will go and build up these people, and these people will turn on you, and you ain't gonna have the help no more. Like, so it's like, you know, so like you said, outsourcing is not like, you go ahead and put guns in the hand of these some of these gang members and stuff, and then build up your little army outside of what's supposed to be the army, and think that you're gonna get what you need like on your black market, and they'll turn on you. They don't care about anything. You are literally hiring people who don't give a damn about anything. You promise them something, you do not deliver on that one thing, they're gonna turn around and come and get you and yours. They don't care.
Listen, and this is the thing, like, this is entry level knowledge, Vladimir Putin, right? This is something that he should have read in like first year of college, The Prince by Machiavelli. It literally says in there, you don't rely on mercenaries because mercenaries will turn on you. Like, this is international relations, war policy 101. But it seems like as time goes on, people get stupider and stupider and make bad decisions because of their egos. And Vladimir Putin wanted to rebuild the Russian empire. And now it looks like he is presiding over the demise of Russia. So we'll see how it rolls out.
And it's funny, some of them think that partnering with these people who they think don't care about their lives and don't care about nothing, and they'll do anything for them. It's funny because partnering with these people, they also think helps clean up the streets. I remember watching a documentary about some leaders who were talking about supplying people with guns in their communities and stuff like that, taking migrants and refugees and asylum seekers and supplying them with guns and, saying that this is what we're going to do to help you and and then making them do all this bad work. And then all those people turned on them. All those people turned on them and their countries. And mind you, these are the people that they were giving the guns to. This is what's funny. They supplied them with the ammunition to go against them. Like, we don't trust y'all. We only doing this because you said you let us stay in this country, or you let us have this land, or we don't have to go to jail, or whatever the case may be. But as soon as you do something like Putin shouldn't be afraid. Like you said, a lot of leaders have gone through this very thing right here. This isn't anything new. They're mercenaries, or they're who have the armies that they've set up and given ammunition to and given money to, all this other stuff. They don't give a damn about that. They will literally rise up against you. They don't care about nothing. That's why you hired them.
Yep. But at the end of the day, we have fascist Wagner group fighting fascist Vladimir Putin inside of
somebody
Russia.
Said that inside of the
we just sit back and let them fight. And the best thing
this is not our business. Is not our business. This is like when I go to the Target and I see a Karen with like my Bob. Are they even calling them Karens anymore? I don't know, because I feel like now that it's really, they're so sad about that name. But anyway, I see these can I speak to your manager type people standing there, and then it's like I see them arguing with each other. Let me tell you something. I step around the argument and I go get my groceries rung up and I leave the premises, because if you think I'm about to go, like seriously, it's none of our business. Let's just watch as it goes, and that's pretty much it. Sorry to, like you said. Sorry to that man.
Maximum damage. I mean, not the civilians. I mean, let the civilians be okay. But in terms of Putin, his forces, his loyalists, and Wagner group, the best thing that can happen for humanity is for them to obliterate each other.
Sorry to that man. All right. I want to end with this last story because I want to know what all the hoopla is about. Rihanna is stepping down as CEO of her Savage X Fenty lingerie brand. If you guys don't know, that lingerie brand is bomb. I have a few pieces myself. But Rihanna is stepping down as the CEO. The billionaire beauty magnate is passing off the work, according to Yahoo Finance, to Hillary Super, the former chief executive of Anthropology Group. Super has also held leadership positions at Guess, American Eagle, Gap, and Old Navy. And she told Vogue that she was thrilled to be joining Savage X Fenty as their new CEO and board member next week. And if you are asking, yes, she is. Super is white. The brand is a major powerhouse in the lingerie and apparel industry. We're talking about Savage Fenty, and its unwavering commitment to celebrating inclusivity and fearlessness is inspiring. That's what Super said. Rihanna, whose personal net worth is estimated, because she is doing Savage Fenty makeup. She got the shoe deal. She got everything. I mean, except for a new album. You see what I'm saying? Baby's coming out. Sis is booked and busy, but her personal net worth is estimated to be at 1.4 billion, and she's held the title of CEO since she founded the lingerie brand in 2018. So she will officially step down on Monday, but remain in leadership as the role of executive chair. A lot of people online were still upset with that, and I don't know. Am I not getting it? They were upset because she's selling it off, Savage Fenty. So the conversation online is surrounding like, why do Black people or sell off something like, that could be theirs, Black owned and things of that sort. But I know when she created this lingerie brand, she partnered with another brand, of course. But it was her brand. So I want to know what the hoopla, like, am I missing it? I don't know, because I feel like a lot of people are making deals to have indefinite generational wealth, I guess, for their families. And Rihanna's not stupid. She has so many other things attached with her name on it. Maybe it's a lot for her running the business. Maybe she's not passionate about that anymore and she's moving on to something else. I don't know. I don't know. But what am I missing here? Is there something that I'm missing where I'm not in the group conversation for Black people? Because I feel like I'm missing it.
Or are people saying she shouldn't have sold it?
Yeah, as a Black woman, like it's almost like with the conversation surrounding artists and their rights kind of thing. Like this is her business. Now she has a white woman as the CEO of Savage Fenty, which we loved because the CEO was Black. This was Black made, created by us. A lot of people think it was for us, even though it was for everyone. But it was like a lot of Black people went to this lingerie brand, skipping over things like Victoria's Secret, and we're going to Savage Fenty because we felt like there was representation for us, our bodies, what we look like, colors that complement our skin, and so on and so forth. My camera died, but like, so I think I'm missing something here. I don't know what it is, but I know there was a lot of conversation surrounding why people were upset that she did that.
I mean, yeah, I think it's just the branding thing. I mean, you can't really categorize the problem for generational wealth because, well, she got some generational wealth out of the sale of the company. And depending on the success of that company going forward, this might have been the best time for her to get out. And companies don't do well in perpetuity. Eventually, companies have a downturn. She got out while it was hot. She got out when she can maximize her profits. And she's going to invest that money back into her family. So she's going to make generational wealth. I think it's just purely and solely the fact that it was a Black brand now underneath the control of a white woman. But then we also have to ask, like, who's the chairman of the board? Like, she might be the CEO, but like, who's still the chairman of the board? I don't know. But then also what is in the contract? Because there's I don't know if Rihanna, I don't know if she completely divested and is completely gone. I'm sure she might have some residuals.
She's executive chair now. Yeah, she still has a position.
Oh, so she still got power.
Yeah.
She still got power.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, people do get emotionally invested in the brands. The people be at the call center that they working at telling Rihanna she should not be selling, not a thing. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. Listen, if you work at a call center, get your money. But if you don't know brands or like they're arguing, like it's big time arguments and like think pieces that are calling her a sellout is what I'm saying. And I don't see that. Maybe I'm missing it, like I said. But that's just where I don't know. I thought that you heard something. I know you live in the Twitter streets. I'm not as much as on Twitter as I used to be, for the sake of my mind. But
yeah, no, listen. Matter of fact, the reason I didn't do a podcast yesterday was because yesterday morning I had tapped out. I had reached my maximum of dealing with these issues, and then we had it was a pretty good day that rejuvenated me. So I'm with you. I wasn't in the Twitter streets to get any information on this one.
Yeah. So it was one of those things. So anyways, shout out to Rihanna. I don't care if we don't get another album. I just love how she is in control of how she does things. Somebody else were to do what she's doing, they will be dragged, they will be commenting, they will be doing all of this. She's just moving on. I bet you another business venture is going to pop up tonight, tomorrow, sure. Like, and with her name on it, because at the end of the day, Savage X Fenty, still Rihanna's name is attached to it in the brand itself as well. So it's, at the end of the day, I really have no say on this. It just became, it was really major news when she dropped it because a lot of Black people felt let down for some reason. And I was trying to see what I was missing.
Nah, yeah. I mean, no. I mean, I get it from an emotional level of like, this was our brand. But yeah, I mean, that happens in capitalism. So maybe just, consider our system. If you really get attached to these brands, maybe that's not the best idea.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm still probably going to wear it. It ain't like some people still wear Balenciaga after their creepy stuff that they did, like she just, I don't know. It's just, I don't think it was that serious. That's me. Anywho, that's where I'm at with it. We're at the end of the show. It's 11:10. It's about to be 11:11. Make your wishes.
Can I say something before? Can I say something?
Oh, you definitely can.
Because I just need to go back to the Russia story for 1 second, just because, and I normally don't do this, but this I how can I start this without being messy or starting a problem? There are people who really believe that Vladimir Putin was doing the right thing when he invaded Ukraine. And those people like to say that those of us who oppose the war in Ukraine, that somehow we're pro-war. And these are some of the same people who have been saying that the way to peace in Ukraine is for the Ukrainian people to surrender to Vladimir Putin, which is one of the most sadistic, twisted, and demented things that I've ever heard. It reminds me of victim blaming, saying just lay there and take it, right? And now I'm very curious, because there's still some of those same people, and I've seen this all over Twitter, and I've seen it in our chat room. The idea that what's happening in Russia right now, that we should not be, I don't know, relieved, because that's what I am. I'm relieved that this is happening in Russia right now, because that means that the war in Ukraine that never should have started in the first place, that Vladimir Putin started, that it has a way to come to an end pretty much without any more escalation and hostilities. Like people want us as the United States of America to stop sending weapons to Ukraine. This is the best way to it now, right? We can, once the Wagner group and Putin loyalists come to blows, they are no longer going to be able to spend all of their resources and all their troops and all their violence in Ukraine. There could not be a more fitting, more serendipitous, or honestly, if you ask me from a spiritual perspective, you know, this reminds me of what happened in the Book of Chronicles. I mean, you know, they have their religious people in Russia saying God ordained them to go into Ukraine and kill people and to start a war. And now these enemies have turned on themselves and they're killing each other. So for anyone who thinks that it is a pro-war position to oppose Vladimir Putin, I honestly don't know how to break it down to you any other way than to say he was the aggressor. He was the one who started this. He was the one who funded the Wagner group. He was the one that allowed them to commit their war crimes. He was the one that allowed them to not only commit war crimes, but to go over there and to get killed. These Nazis in the Wagner group were getting laid to waste. I mean, they were getting killed as fast as they could get over there. And this is the result of Vladimir Putin. So I don't think that there could be a more moral, serendipitous, or just way for this to come to an end than for the thing that Vladimir Putin, the monster that he created, to turn on him. And I'm sorry to all the people who feel otherwise. You feel like this is the fault of NATO. Good luck blaming what's happening today, on NATO, because this was the creation of no one else than Vladimir Putin. And this is the most just way that this war could come to an end, because they're not going to be able to keep troops in Ukraine when they're fighting each other. That's all.
Drops mic. Listen, I don't see how people could say otherwise. Anything past the fact of this is pretty much Putin's fault. This is the blood on his hands. And how Ben said it, the chickens have come home to roost. Is that what you say? And that's it. And I don't see how people could argue with that. But again, everybody has an opinion. They're like bottom holes. So like it is.
Have you seen the video?
Have
you seen the videos of those sisters on Instagram? The new rap song. When you said the booty holes, it reminded me of the song that says my stuff is pink and my booty holes brown.
My
goodness.
I'm
not talking about that song. I'm talking about a really good song that came out.
No, but Ben, that song I heard for the first time ever in my life.
The worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
Like 3 days ago, but I didn't hear it on the radio. I didn't hear it. I saw a video of somebody saying, what was it called? Bust Me Down. That's what you're saying.
I don't know.
Pound Town. And then the first lyrics were what you said. Yes. My stuff is pink and my hole is brown.
So I'm not talking about that song. I was asking.
But just as that lyric is trash, just like Putin is trash. That's all I can say. No, you guys, I never heard of anything like that. And she was calling the song Pound Town. She looks like she's 5. Where are we pounding? What town? You had your period for 3 days now.
Don't look like she's 5. She
looks pretty young to me.
25.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. A baby.
Okay.
What are we talking about? It sounded like a child, a 5-year-old wrote the lyrics. Why are you describing the color of the parts of your body?
Well, unfortunately, when you said that, it reminded me of women rappers. And then there are two sisters who put out a song. Have you heard the one that starts off by saying, "Hello, Christ, I'm about to sin again."
No, but
Me and my
that's a good
BFF are
lyric.
like a synonym, the same like a synonym. Like they're these two sisters who are, I don't know if they're blood sisters, but two black girls who are running in the streets and rapping this song that is dope, that is absolutely fire. And then just think, when you said the booty hole song, it reminded me of how bad that is, but it reminded me of how brilliant these girls are who put out this new song.
I'm just too old nowadays.
I'll
I ain't
send you the link.
old.
I'll send you the link. I
Let
don't
me
know if
listen to that
David was
new
able to
song,
grab
but
it.
not the girl talking about
No,
Pound
not Pound Town. Not Pound.
I don't know that. I don't want to. But
Anyway,
yeah.
I'll bring it up next week. I'll have the video next week.
Yeah. All right, yo. Ben, you had a tweet that you wanted to put up?
I was trying to pull the video for that song, but it's not in that tweet apparently. So don't worry about it. We'll pull up the song another time. All right.
We'll pull up the song. I'm gonna check it out because just that first lyric, "Hello Christ, I'm about to sin again." Not me, Lord, but the people in that song said that. So it's one of those, Lord, it's me again. But that's "Hello Christ, I'm about to sin again." Not you warning him. He already know. But listen, we're at the end of the show. I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. It is Saturday. I hope you made a wish at 11:11 when it was 11:11, but it is Saturday. Go enjoy yourself for parts of wherever you are. I hope there's sun like we finally getting out here, some sun shining. I hope that you enjoy it. If you guys loved the show, I see a lot of you guys are rocking with us, especially on our Saturday shows. If you guys are loving it, you know what to do. Become a patron at patreon.com/like it or not. Patreon.com/like it or not. Also, it's me and your boy Ben on here today. It ain't nothing wrong with a little offering. Pass the offering plate around. It'd be great. Where you can submit that offering is over on our Cash Apps at BPD 2018, BPD 2018 on Cash App, and Becca's Voice on Cash App as well. I love you guys so much. I'm at the end. I have to go. Today's still a work day for me. Got to clean my house. Got to do groceries. It's just, I know, Ben, you had your little church already.
Got my handkerchief.
Just tapping yourself down. Like, it was hilarious.
It's not out here today.
But go enjoy yourself. Love you. Mean it. See you guys.
I stay and just repeat it now. Yeah, oh, we dream about all things being alright, but we freeze when it's all up to us. So let's fight it, make a stand.